Hey everyone, this is David. First video today. I'm going to explain a little bit into my business plan that I have for projection for when I decide to run. So, first things first, and I want to explain the business plan a little bit. We're going to start immediately. If I end up running, we're going to start immediately with a full pardon for every business that Gavin is completely screwed over. All fines and penalties would be removed, and all their licenses and permits would be reinstated. And then, along with the same executive order, there would also be in the executive order a automatic 6-month moratorium on business tax and on personal income tax. So we'd have a 6-month moratorium where no one pays taxes. I would then proceed into executive order an immediate audit of every single tax dollar, because it's not right for taxpayers to be paying taxes and all that stuff if we can't even tell where the hell all of it's going. Then, after we get the tax audit back, and we get the audit back to see where all the tax dollars are going, everything we're allowed to release online, we'll release online. Then, we're going to do the same thing a year later, but with with what I've done, basically. So, after the 6-month moratorium passes, you go into an incentive-based program. So, what it would be, we want to bring in a flat tax, so it makes it a lot easier to use and a lot easier to do. So, I'm going to explain this the best way I know how. So, let's say business tax is 8%. All right. What ends up happening? Let's say they pay their employees 25% more in pay. That'd be a difference going from 14 to 17. What ends up happening is they would increase a person's pay, but the minimum wage would stay low. So the cost of living doesn't go up, and everyone can actually really benefit from this. So that's one of the incentives would be to pay 25% more. So let's say they paid the 25% more. It would drop from like 8% to 7%. And then let's say they paid for medical, dental, vision. It'd be 7 to 6. And let's say they, grow their business and add more employees. That's 6 to 5. Making all their employees full-time, 5 to 4. You see how this is going. So this is what we would be doing. It would be, granted, it's incentivizing them to do what they should be doing, because, that's the kind of stuff that Chick-fil-A and all them already do. But a lot of businesses cannot afford to do this because they're being taxed, especially the small business that doesn't got a lot of employees. It's hard for them to do this kind of stuff because that's money out of their own pocket. So we have to so the incentive-based program would allow them to do this kind of stuff while not affecting their life. You see what I'm saying? So, yes, the big businesses, they benefit from this too, and most of them already do have to, well, maybe not most of them, all the good ones do this kind of stuff already anyway. So it's incentivizing them to do it. But then we're also bringing a tax credit program. Now I want you to keep in mind, everything in my plan is copyrighted. So the copyrights have been sent off. So now we're going to implement a tax credit. This tax credit would be, let's say a company does like T-Mobile and they're giving like huge massive discounts to the military. Well, there would be one credit. Let's say they actively are participating with volunteer groups and stuff like that, and actually doing community-based stuff. And the more community-based stuff they do, the more tax credits they can earn. But basically, you can build up a set amount of tax credits. So say that taxes are at 8%. You would be able to build up 8 tax credits. And you could hold on to those for 10 years. That would be the ideal. You'd be able to hold on to them for 10 years. So let's say you went and did all this stuff to get these tax credits, but you only completed 4 things on the list and you still had 4 things left. You could cash in those tax credits to balance yourself out to zero. So that you can't never cash it in for, you would not be able to use the tax credits to cash in for a positive outcome. You can do it for a negative outcome, you can do it for a balancing yourself out outcome, but you can't use it for a positive outcome. So this is a better explanation of the kind of plan I have. The reason this plan was built is because California is a special case. Its taxes are ungodly high right now, and to top that all off, California's in a massive amount of debt. Massive. So what ends up happening is, with California being this massive amount of debt, we have to look at this in a different perspective. So if you raise taxes, you see what happened. Now all these companies are fleeing the damn state. It's pretty self-explanatory. But if you reduce taxes to zero or reduce them down, you run into an actual problem. And see, this is where most of the people that are running is where they're going to run into an issue with their dropping the taxes. When you drop the taxes down, let's say we do a Nevada style and go to zero. Let's just say we did that. What ends up happening is you have a massive crash in the economy. Now, granted, your recovery time will be pretty quick, especially if you can get the companies to come back. If you can get the companies to come back, the regrow time will be insanely fast. But you got to remember, all the people that's moved out of here are really, really hurt and have really no intent to want to come back. So we have to incentivize them to do so. So the thing is, when you reduce those taxes to zero, like I said, you got that crash, and the recovery time is nice. Mine is meant to, the plan I have is meant to eventually work us to being a zero tax, kind of like Nevada. So, basically, you can't, if somebody got in there and they reduced taxes down to absolute zero, and they had to wait for companies to come back into the state, then they got about a year before those companies are fully established. By this point in time, they have no income and they've shown no results. They've been paying off the debt. With the money that they do have coming in, they'll be paying off the debt. But that's all they're going to be able to do. That's all they're going to be able to do is pay off debt. They're not going to have any extra money to really do anything to better the state. The way I proposed still has revenue coming in, because even if you look at it in the perspective of the employees getting a pay increase, now they go from 14 to 17, let's just say figuratively speaking, they go from 14 to 17. That cost of living doesn't go up. Now these employees are putting a lot more money back into their pocket. So what ends up happening is they end up going to Walmart. They probably buy a TV, or they'll buy extra groceries, or they'll do something like that. You know, pretty standard stuff when you got the extra money to do it. So now we're getting money back off of sales tax. The same argument could be made for the other side. The problem is the cost of living stayed the same and people's pay didn't go up. So you're not going to have anybody really spending more money. So this program was designed particularly with California in mind. So I have to add one last piece, because this is the piece that people that aren't around are going to be thinking about and looking at. If a person, which means somebody flipping a damn burger at McDonald's or something like that, that's making less than $50,000 a year, you do not pay income taxes. You get more of your money. That is in my plan. So it is considering the low-income people. Do not let anyone tell you otherwise. So this is just my proposed plan for the state of California. I wanted to tell it to you and give you more of a breakdown. Thank you and have a good day.